The hidden power of masculine thinking. Why it's rare today. They say masculinity is dead. But what if I told you it's not dead, it's just hidden? In a world obsessed with instant gratification and quick wins, the masculine way of thinking is almost extinct. And that's exactly why it's so powerful today. Because when something becomes rare, it becomes valuable. Look around. We live in a culture that rewards speed over depth, comfort over courage, reaction over reflection. Most men are trapped in a cycle of constant distraction, scrolling endlessly, chasing validation, seeking shortcuts. The result? A generation of men who've lost touch with their inner strength, their clarity, their discipline. But here's the truth. Masculinity isn't about aggression, dominance, or outdated stereotypes. It's about a mindset, a way of thinking that values purpose over pleasure, principle over popularity, and vision over validation. In this video, I'm going to show you how masculine men think differently, not just from women, but from the majority of men today. Backed by science, guided by timeless Stoic philosophy, and rooted in principles that have shaped leaders, warriors, and visionaries for centuries. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear could redefine how you see strength, confidence, and success forever. Picture this. Two men facing the same crisis, losing their job overnight. One spirals into panic, anger, and self-pity. The other sits in silence, takes a deep breath, and starts planning his next move. Same storm. Two completely different responses. What separates them? Mindset. Masculine thinking isn't about the absence of fear or struggle. It's about control, the ability to remain grounded when the world shakes. It's about clarity in chaos, logic over impulse, and the courage to endure discomfort for the sake of something greater. And here's the twist. This isn't just philosophy. Science backs it up. Studies show that men with strong purpose-driven thinking patterns are more resilient under stress, make better long-term decisions, and even experience higher levels of life satisfaction. Here's what most people miss. Masculinity isn't toxic. Weakness is. The real toxicity comes when men abandon responsibility, chase cheap dopamine hits, and live without a code. A masculine mindset flips the script, delayed gratification, choosing the pain of discipline over the ease of distraction. Emotional regulation, feeling emotions without being controlled by them. Purpose-driven action, making moves today that your future self will thank you for. These principles are timeless. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, said it best, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Masculine men live this truth daily. If you're ready to reclaim this rare power in a soft world, stay with me till the end of this video. And if this resonates, subscribe now, because this is where men are forged, not entertained. The modern masculinity crisis. Why most men feel lost. Have you ever wondered why so many men today feel anxious, depressed, and directionless, even when life is more comfortable than ever? Here's the brutal truth. Most men are lost because the world has stolen their map. Think about it. Just a few decades ago, being a man meant having a clear role, provider, protector, builder. There was a sense of responsibility, and with that responsibility came purpose. But today, everything is blurred. Society tells you, be strong, but don't be too strong. Be ambitious, but don't be competitive. Be confident, but stay humble to the point of self-doubt. It's like walking through a storm with no compass. Every step feels wrong, no matter which direction you choose. And the result? A silent epidemic of men drowning in confusion, shame, and weakness. Here's what I want you to know. The crisis isn't permanent. In fact, it's an opportunity, a rare chance to rise above the noise and reclaim what most men have lost. But first, you need to understand why this crisis exists and how to escape it. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a young man in his 20s. He's got a degree, a smartphone, and a world of endless choices. But deep inside, he feels empty. Why? Because he's been told that nothing truly matters, that everything is subjective, that life is just about being happy. So he drifts, scrolling through Instagram, binge-watching Netflix, chasing cheap dopamine hits, and wondering why he still feels hollow. The problem isn't that life is hard. The problem is that life is too easy, and comfort has killed his sense of mission. Here's what science and philosophy both reveal. Men need challenge to feel alive. Dopamine spikes when we overcome obstacles, not when everything is handed to us. Men need structure. Without a framework, the mind defaults to chaos and anxiety. Men need a code, principles that define who they are, regardless of trends, opinions, or comfort. Marcus Aurelius understood this centuries ago when he wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." And that's the key. The crisis exists because men abandon the challenge, the code, and the structure. But you're here because you want them back. So let me ask you, do you want to know the one mindset shift that separates lost men from leaders? Stick with me, because in the next section, we'll reveal the foundation of masculine thinking that rewires everything. What science reveals about masculine psychology. Here's a shocking truth most people don't want to hear. Men and women are not wired the same way, and science proves it. In fact, understanding these differences is the first step to unlocking true masculine strength. Ever notice how, in moments of crisis, some men become calm and focused while others panic and spiral? Or why some men build empires while others can't even stick to a single goal? It's not luck, it's biology and psychology working together. But here's the problem. Modern culture tells men to reject their nature, to suppress their instincts, to feel everything, even when feelings lead to chaos. And as a result, most men are confused about their own wiring, and they wonder why they feel weak. If you've ever struggled to stay focused, control your emotions, or make bold decisions, this section is going to change everything. Because we're diving into the science of masculine psychology and what it means for you. Imagine this scenario. Two men are fired from their jobs on the same day. One spirals into despair, blaming everyone around him. The other? He takes a deep breath, assesses the situation, and immediately starts working on a plan. Why? Because his brain isn't trapped in the storm of emotions. He's wired for solution-based thinking. This isn't about being cold or unfeeling. It's about using nature's design to thrive. Here's what science tells us. Dopamine and risk-taking. Studies show men have higher baseline dopamine responses to risk and challenge, which explains why masculine energy thrives on purpose and competition. Prefrontal cortex and decision-making. Men tend to activate the problem-solving region of the brain more in stressful situations, favoring logic over emotional reaction. Testosterone and dominance drive. Testosterone isn't about aggression. It's about confidence, drive, and persistence. Low testosterone is linked to indecision and passivity. Stress response. While women's stress response often triggers the need for social connection, men lean toward fight or flight, which means solitude and strategy. This is why Stoic philosophers like Epictetus taught that emotions should never govern your actions. Feelings are signals, not commands. Masculine psychology isn't about avoiding emotions. It's about mastering them so they serve your mission, not sabotage it. Practical takeaways. Don't fight your wiring, use it. Instead of drowning in feelings, analyze them. Ask, what's the signal here? Embrace healthy stress. Pressure is your ally. It sharpens masculine focus and resilience. Protect your testosterone. Sleep, strength training, and disciplined living keep your biological engine running at full power. So, here's the big question. If masculine psychology is built for challenge, why do so many men still play small? In the next section, we'll reveal the number one principle of masculine thinking that turns uncertainty into unstoppable confidence. Don't miss this. The Stoic blueprint for masculine resilience. What if I told you that the secret to masculine strength isn't about being the loudest man in the room or the toughest guy in the gym? It's about mastery over yourself. And that blueprint was written over 2,000 years ago. In today's world, men are told to express every emotion, to be vulnerable at all costs, to let feelings lead the way. But here's the harsh truth. When you let emotions control you, you become reactive, weak, and easily manipulated. Think about it. How many times have you lost your temper, said something you regretted, and paid for it later? How often have feelings made you freeze instead of act? If that sounds familiar, it's because you're living without a framework for emotional power. And that's where Stoicism enters the picture. The Stoic philosophy isn't just ancient wisdom. It's the ultimate masculine code for emotional discipline, focus, and resilience. And when you apply it, you become unshakable in a world that thrives on chaos. Picture Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, ruling over millions while enemies closed in from every side. Every decision could mean life or death, not just for him, but for an entire empire. Do you think he had the luxury of emotional breakdowns? No. He practiced control. He wrote in his journal every morning, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That single sentence is the foundation of masculine resilience. Not suppressing emotions, but mastering them so they never rule you. Here's how Stoicism shapes masculine strength. Control the controllables. Stop wasting energy on things outside your control. Other people's opinions, external events, random outcomes. Direct that energy inward where it matters. Emotion as data, not orders. Feel anger? Good. It signals a boundary. But you decide how to respond, not the anger itself. Negative visualization. Imagine the worst-case scenario. Not to fear it, but to neutralize its power over you. This is the antidote to anxiety. Discipline equals freedom. Stoics believe that true freedom comes from self-control. You can't lead others until you lead yourself. Action steps. Every morning ask, "What's in my control today?" Write it down. When emotions surge, say, "This is not me, this is a sensation." I choose my response. End each day with reflection. What did I master today, and what mastered me? But here's the truth. Stoicism is just the starting point. If you want to build indestructible masculine confidence, you need more than emotional control. You need a mission that defines you. In the next section, we'll break down how purpose separates strong men from the weak. Why masculine men think in long-term strategies, not short-term gratification. Why do some men build empires while others can't even stick to a workout plan? It comes down to this. Masculine men think in decades, not days. If you want power, freedom, and respect, you must learn to delay what every weak man craves: instant gratification. Look around. The modern world is built for quick hits, like swipes, notifications, fast food, instant success promises. Everywhere you turn, society is conditioning you to trade your future for the dopamine of now. Most men fall for this trap. They'll binge Netflix for hours instead of building their skills. They'll scroll for validation instead of creating real value. And then they wonder why life feels empty, why they have no direction, no strength, no respect. If you felt stuck, chasing temporary pleasures but never seeing progress, you're not alone. The system is designed to keep you weak. But here's what science and the most powerful men in history will tell you. Long-term thinking isn't just a habit, it's a competitive advantage that will make you unstoppable. Think about this. Marcus Aurelius wasn't journaling for a better day. He was writing for a better life. The Stoics lived by a principle called amor fati, love your fate, which meant they embraced the long game, knowing that struggle today builds power tomorrow. Science backs this up. The famous marshmallow experiment showed that children who could delay gratification ended up with higher incomes, stronger relationships, and better health decades later. Why? Because discipline compounds like interest. Every choice to delay pleasure makes your future self stronger. Here's the shift. Think like a builder, not a consumer. Frame your life in decades. Stop asking, what feels good now? Start asking, what will matter in 10 years? Invest in skills, not thrills. Every hour spent learning, building, and improving is a seed for future power. Micro sacrifices for macro wins. Skip the party, finish the project. Refuse the impulse, own the reward. Use the Stoic question, will this matter when I am old? If not, it's a trap. Set one 10-year goal and break it down into yearly, monthly, and daily actions. Create a gratification gap. When you crave an impulse, wait 10 minutes before acting. That gap rewires your brain. Each night, review, what did I do today that served my future self? Now, here's the key. Long-term strategy is nothing without a purpose strong enough to sustain it. In the next section, we'll unlock the single trait that gives masculine men unshakable direction when others are lost. How masculine men handle chaos, the calm in the storm. When everything falls apart, when businesses collapse, relationships end, and life hits hard, most men break. They panic, they rage, they lose themselves. But masculine men, they become the eye of the storm. Calm, unshaken, strategic. How? Let's break it down. Think about the last time your life felt out of control. Maybe you lost a job, had a relationship implode, or faced a financial hit. How did you react? Did you feel that wave of anxiety? That desperate urge to do something? Anything to escape the pain? That's normal. Your brain is wired to freak out in uncertainty. But here's the hard truth. Chaos exposes your core. It reveals whether you've built a foundation of strength or if you've been living on fragile ground. Most men crumble because they've spent their lives chasing comfort, not resilience. Today, you'll learn the exact mindset and science-backed methods that turn chaos into clarity. This is how masculine men stay composed while everyone else is drowning. Picture Marcus Aurelius again, the most powerful man in the world at his time, facing plagues, wars, betrayal, and death every single day. Did he break? No. He wrote words like these, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Now fast forward to modern science. The stress response is biological, but the interpretation is psychological. Studies show that people who view stress as a challenge instead of a threat have lower cortisol levels and higher performance under pressure. That's resilience, not the absence of stress, but mastery of it. Here's how to build that mastery. Detach from the immediate storm. Chaos feels urgent, but 90% of your panic comes from imagined outcomes, not reality. Practice cognitive distancing. Ask, what's in my control right now? Anchor in Stoic calm. Use this Stoic practice, negative visualization. Imagine the worst-case scenario, accept it, then strategize upward. Fear loses its grip when you've already faced the darkest possibility. Control the physiology first. Masculine poise begins in the body. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4, exhale for 8. This triggers the parasympathetic system and resets your brain to think rationally. Shift to command mode. Masculine men ask, what's the next best move? Not the perfect move, not the emotional move, the next logical step forward. Each morning, rehearse adversity in your mind. What if I lose my job today? Then plan what you do. This builds psychological immunity. Next time you feel chaos, speak this out loud. Control the controllable. Then act only on that. Track your storm response. Each time you remain calm under pressure, celebrate it. Your brain learns strength through repetition. But staying calm isn't enough. To thrive, you need something even greater, an unshakable purpose that makes every storm worth facing. That's what we reveal in the next section. Emotional mastery. Why masculine men don't react. They respond. Here's a hard truth. Most men lose respect not because of failure, but because of emotional outbursts. Every time you snap in anger, panic in fear, or crumble under pressure, you give away your power. Masculine men don't do that. They don't react, they respond. Here's why that changes everything. Have you ever sent that angry text you later regretted? Raised your voice in an argument, only to realize you lost control? That sinking feeling that you let your emotions hijack your judgment. That's what destroys relationships, careers, and reputations. Most men believe strength is about dominance, aggression, and reacting fast. But reaction is weakness. It's the mind on autopilot, enslaved by triggers. True masculine strength? The ability to pause when everyone else explodes. That's where respect, trust, and leadership are born. In this section, you'll learn how science and Stoic wisdom align on one truth. Emotional mastery is the foundation of masculine power. And I'll give you actionable steps to build it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Science backs this up. Neurobiology tells us that the amygdala fires first when we face a trigger, but the prefrontal cortex, the rational brain, decides the response. Masculine men have trained the gap between stimulus and response. That pause is their battlefield. They don't suppress emotions, they govern them. Here's the framework to build that pause and master your emotions. The 2-second rule. Before reacting, breathe and count to 2. This interrupts the limbic hijack and activates rational thinking. Name it to tame it. Label the emotion, "I feel anger." Research shows naming emotions reduces their intensity by up to 50. Reframe the trigger. Ask, what else could this mean? Most triggers aren't attacks, they're perceptions. Shift to response mode. Instead of, "What do I feel like doing?" ask, "What action serves my values and long-term goal?" Each day, journal one moment where you reacted and one where you responded. Track your progress. Practice cold exposure or high-intensity workouts to train composure under stress. Your body learns calm through discomfort. Use the Stoic principle of premeditatio malorum. Mentally prepare for insults, setbacks, and challenges so nothing catches you off guard. Reaction is instinct. Response is choice. And choice is where true masculinity lives. But here's the question. How do you keep this composure when life tests you with betrayal, failure, and chaos? The answer lies in something deeper than emotions. It's about purpose. And that's what we'll uncover next. Purpose over pleasure, the core driver of masculine fulfillment. If you take nothing else from this video, take this. A man without purpose is a man without power. Strip away your mission, and what's left? Distraction, addiction, and emptiness. Masculine men think differently because they're not chasing pleasure. They're chasing meaning. Look around today. Men drowning in short dopamine hits, scrolling endlessly, binging content, gaming, numbing out with alcohol, or living for the weekend. Comfort feels good, but deep down, it eats away at your soul. Why? Because comfort without meaning is the slowest form of self-destruction. Have you ever asked yourself, what am I building that outlives me? That's a terrifying question for most men. And that's why so many avoid it by drowning in distractions. By the end of this section, you'll know why purpose is the masculine antidote to chaos, how science backs this, and how to lock into a mission so deeply that pleasure feels like a cheap substitute. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, wrote in Man's Search for Meaning, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost anyhow. Masculine energy is rooted in direction. Without it, you drift. With it, you endure storms that would break ordinary men." Science agrees. Studies on dopamine and motivation show that men wired for long-term goals experience greater fulfillment and lower rates of depression than those chasing instant gratification. Purpose rewires your brain to seek progress over pleasure. Here's the framework to make purpose your compass. 1. Write your legacy question. If I died in 10 years, What would I regret not building? Write the first three answers that come to mind. That's where your purpose hides. 2. Use the 3P model, purpose, pleasure, pain. Whenever faced with a choice, ask, does this serve my purpose? If not, it's a distraction. 3. Embrace voluntary discomfort. Train your mind to prioritize meaning by doing hard things daily. Cold showers, fasting, discipline, and workouts. This rewires your reward system from comfort to progress. 4. Connect purpose to service. Masculine purpose isn't selfish. It impacts others. Ask, who benefits when I win? Journal your top 3 values and link them to a mission bigger than yourself. Cut one major distraction this week. Replace it with a task that serves your long-term vision. Revisit this question every Sunday. What did I do this week that moved me closer to my purpose? Masculine men aren't anti-pleasure. They simply refuse to make it the driver. Meaning is their currency, and purpose is their throne. But purpose isn't enough. The world will still throw storms your way. The question is, how do masculine men stay unshaken when everything falls apart? The answer is in the next section, and it will redefine how you view strength forever. The masculine mind versus the victim mindset. Here's a truth that stings. Most men today are prisoners of the victim mindset, and they don't even know it. They believe life happens to them, not for them. Masculine men, they play a different game. They don't blame, they build. They don't complain, they conquer. Ever met someone who always has a reason why life is unfair? My boss hates me. The economy is bad. Women only want rich guys. Sound familiar? Maybe you've said it yourself. But here's the problem. When you think like that, you've handed over your power. You've surrendered control to circumstances, and that's the ultimate weakness. Masculine men reject this trap. They understand that the moment you blame something outside yourself, you've already lost. By the end of this section, you'll learn the single biggest difference between men who rise and men who rot, and how to adopt the mindset that makes failure fuel instead of fatal. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. Every day he faced betrayal, wars, and death, but not once in his meditations did he play the victim. Instead, he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the masculine mind in action, radical responsibility. No excuses, no entitlement. Just action. Now contrast that with the victim mentality. Science calls this an external locus of control, believing your life is dictated by forces beyond you. Studies link it to depression, anxiety, and chronic dissatisfaction. The masculine mind flips the script, an internal locus of control, owning the outcome regardless of the obstacle. Here's the mindset shift that separates the strong from the stuck. Rule number 1. Replace why me with what now. Victims ask why life is hard. Masculine men ask what's next. They move from pain to progress instantly. Rule number 2. Kill excuses at the root. Every excuse is a chain. The more you justify failure, the tighter it grips you. Masculine men cut the chain by saying, if it's my fault, I can fix it. Rule number 3. Adopt the 3A framework. Awareness, acceptance, action, awareness. Spot the blame language. They, them, the system. Acceptance. Admit your role in the problem. Action. Take one step forward, no matter how small. Rule number 4. Study adversity like a scientist instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? This week, every time you complain, stop and reframe it into an action step. Write one major area of your life where you've played the victim and flip it into responsibility. But responsibility alone isn't enough. What if life hits you so hard that everything falls apart? Your job, your health, your relationships. The next section reveals how masculine men turn the worst pain into unstoppable power. This is where warriors are forged. How to develop masculine thinking in a soft world. Here's the brutal truth. The world you live in is designed to make you soft. Comfort is the new currency. Instant gratification is everywhere. And if you don't fight back, you'll lose the edge that makes you strong, decisive, and respected. But the good news? Masculine thinking is a skill, and skills can be built. Think about it. You wake up, check your phone, scroll through dopamine hits on social media. You work from a chair all day. You eat food delivered to your door. Life has never been easier, and yet men have never felt weaker, more anxious, and more directionless. It's not your fault. The system rewards comfort. But comfort is a trap. Masculine men, they seek the opposite. They train in discomfort. In this final section, I'll give you practical steps to harden your mind, sharpen your focus, and build unshakable masculine thinking, even in a world built to break it. Look back at the warriors of old, Spartans, Sarai, Stoics. They lived by principles that made them strong because their world was harsh. Today, harshness isn't handed to you. You must create it. Science calls this hormesis, small doses of stress that make you stronger. Masculine thinking thrives under controlled adversity. Here are 5 battle-tested frameworks to develop masculine thinking in today's soft world. 1. The discomfort rule. Do something hard daily. Take cold showers. Lift heavy. Speak your mind. Reject the easy choice at least once a day. Your brain adapts. Your confidence grows. 2. The vision ritual. Every morning, write down your mission for the day. Not just tasks, but purpose-driven actions. Masculine thinking is fueled by clarity of direction. 3. The delayed dopamine habit. Train yourself to wait. Hungry? Wait 30 minutes before eating. Want to check your phone? Wait 15. This rewires your brain for long-term gratification, the hallmark of masculine men. 4. The silent strength practice. Spend 10 minutes a day in complete silence. No music, no distractions, just your thoughts. This builds mental fortitude and emotional regulation. 5. The accountability edge. Find a man you respect or a group and share your goals. Masculine thinking thrives in brotherhood, where weakness is challenged, not coddled. Bonus. Every time you feel like quitting, whisper this Stoic mantra to yourself. Endure and persist. Now you know the science, the philosophy, and the steps. The question is, will you do the work? If you're ready to build strength in a weak world, hit that subscribe button and join a community of men committed to rising above the noise. Because the world doesn't need more soft men. It needs men of principle, purpose, and power. And that starts with you today. The masculine mind reclaimed. You just walked through a journey most men never take. You've seen why the masculine mindset is rare, why modern men feel lost, what science reveals, and how Stoic principles can turn chaos into calm. You've learned that masculine men think long-term, master emotions, and live with purpose. Not for pleasure, not for comfort, but for something greater. The truth is simple. Masculine thinking isn't about aggression. It's about alignment. Alignment with your values, your vision, and your higher self. In a world screaming for your attention, you choose discipline. In a society worshiping instant gratification, you choose strategy. When others react, you respond. That is power. That is freedom. So I'll leave you with this. You're not here to be soft. You're not here to drift. You're here to build, to lead, to endure, and to persist when others quit. That's the essence of the masculine mind, and it's waiting inside you right now. If this resonated, subscribe and join the movement. Share this with a man who needs to hear it. And remember, greatness isn't given, it's earned. One decision at a time, one discipline at a time, one day at a time. Stay strong, stay grounded, stay unstoppable.